Since you mentioned a coffee one night, in bed you sleeping, next night is awake and you keeping. So you pray to win the lotto, not to hear their voices. What I doing? I can hear you. It's still crying. Hey, hey, yeah. Social victims of unjust laws. Yet they pursue the heroes, and the heads desperados, forever knocking on heaven's door. Still on music, shut and the silence. I'm on it to conquer the violence. Big men run when comes approach, fighting for scraps with the cockroach. The young turks, they're tough protected. Almost every young girl expected. Tomorrow, let's it all rock, and the another shining, so crying, 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 yeah, crying, crying, yeah. Opportunities, well, they're always close. Can't get up once in white collar. If I can't stretch me dollar, later for me crap or smoke me pipe. Some just all the days of crime. Life just break, dignity and pride. Till there's only bitterness left inside. And every day is a hustle. Arguments are settled with muscle. Till you're 16 deep by 3 feet whitewash. Children, should life keep on drifting? Something they're smoking or sniffing. Or maybe they're trying to forget this life of misery and regret. No one to come to the rescue except Cable, Tag and Bushu. So they boom box since the Lego. The drum and music, they're crying. They're still crying.
Good night, Trinidad and Tobago. Good night, good night, good night. And you know, you're out here early. And the only reason for me to be out here at all is to confront and respond to nonsense that your Prime Minister put in the public space. Your Prime Minister said that it is the government's intention to declare violent crime as a public health issue. Now, I know he sound like a donkey, but I know he not stupid. And I know that the people behind him not stupid either. So the question I ask myself is, of all the stupid statements he could make, why would he say that he wants to declare violent crime as a public health issue. And the only reason I could come up with for him making such a stupid statement is that, having tasted the extra constitutional powers that they enjoyed for the pandemic, they want to use that for every circumstance. They want to benefit from it. They want to be able to do lockdowns. They want to do what the Constitution does not allow, which are limited states of emergency. And the two parties, the PNM and the UNC, playing games in the parliament. And the public, thinking they don't have power, carries along themselves isolated, divided, not recognizing that it is their power that Keith Rowley and Kamla Persad-Bissessar is standing on. Kamla Persad-Bissessar is standing on 218,000 Indian people, give or take, voted for her. Rowley is standing on 221,000 Afro-Trinbagonians who voted for the PNM. Now, the PNM and the UNC Kunumumus will rush in each other and say, how much votes you get? How much seats you win? Not realizing that it is their Kunumumu behavior that have the country as a shithole as it is. I'll ask them. And I'll ask all 218,000 East Indians who voted for the UNC, would you vote for Kamla if she wasn't in the UNC? If Kamla went and joined the PNM and ran for Siparia, would you vote for her? If she joined the ILP, if she ran as an independent, would you vote for her? And the answer is no. If Keith Rowley stepped outside of the PNM in Diego Martin West and ran as an independent, no. The machinery of state has been set up a certain way. And it is only when the people who traditionally do not vote come out and vote, or when the people who are bamboozled into voting race wake up for a minute and vote otherwise, that we could get change. So I want to ignore those trolls because, and that's why I just block and move on. I don't take them on. I don't speak to the trolls at all. I just block and move on because their job is not to have a conversation with me. They're not interested in a conversation. What they want to do is derail the conversation and frame the narrative a certain way. We have to watch our country now, where the government is trying to see what else they could draw in under the idea that if you give up your human rights and your civil liberties, they would protect you. It is precisely for this why Benjamin Franklin said, those who would give up essential liberty for temporary safety deserve neither and will lose both. And we in Trinidad and Tobago, many of us, are our own worst enemy. Our behavior, our isolated behavior. Hello, good evening. I am on a live video. You are now live. How can I help you?
Good night.
Yes, you are live with me. How can I help you?
Well, concerning on behalf of you, you posted something with a guy concerning a down payment on a vehicle, right?
Yes.
Okay. I know the information that was given on that receipt that you posted on whatever with the person, right?
Right.
So I know so it. So I was just wanting to see. You see the person saying that it was a down payment of 10,000 on our own vehicle, right? On our own vehicle which is supposed to be delivered, right?
You have information contrary to the receipt?
Yes, it was.
So could you WhatsApp it just now? Pause. Slow your roll. Because unless you have something that you could physically send to me that undermines what the receipt says, your telling it to me means nothing. Yeah.
I don't like telling live. I am the person.
No. It's not about telling it live. I mean, you're saying it at all. You're saying it is useless. Unless you have a document that contradicts the receipt, your opinion is useless when a receipt exists. You understand that?
Yes,
In a court of law, he has a document to present and all you have is an opinion. You understand that?
No, I am the person who did the contract with the person.
So you have the contract. You are the seller of the car?
Yes, and they received the vehicle that they made the payment and it was repossessed in Barataria Station, right? Where the police took the vehicle from them.
So you have documentation to support that?
Yes.
Send that just now. Slow down. Send that to me as a WhatsApp and we'll fix that too. Okay?
Okay, no problem. Because I now saw it up there and I
Send it to me. Tell me if that English is easy to understand. Send it to me as a WhatsApp and we will fix it up. Let me see what you have, okay?
Okay, no problem.
Right. Yeah. We in Trinidad and Tobago, and this is me now, I am the government, I am the opposition, I am the police service, I am everything because people have nowhere to turn. So when they have a problem with each other, they're looking for somebody to ameliorate. So one guy is saying that he paid on $10,000 on a car and he never get it, and he share a set of WhatsApp broadcasts with me, and he share a driver's permit and the guys and the receipt from the guy. I put it up. I asked, is this true? The guy is calling to say it is not, that the fella lying, that the fella paid on but never pay anymore and they repossess the car. So we're going to see that. We'll put that up too. Sorry for that interruption. The point I want to make is we the people of Trinidad, I'll get back to wherever I was before this man called and distracted me. But I know the intention that I want to share tonight is that until we, the people of Trinidad and Tobago, start seeing the country before party, every PNM voter should be in uproar over what took place with the Attorney General. But PNM voters cannot be in uproar. And Express newspaper have to run the opinion of a UNC senator lawyer because the contract mafia behind the media want to frame the national conversation as if people still interested in just those two parties. They will not poll us. They're doing their endeavor best not to give us a voice. But all large national issues begin on this phone, on this live, on this page. Everything we share, every issue that we turn the light on goes viral. Like this guy with his car who's trying to sell and one of them wrong. And in most situations, what I try to do is get us to a place where we could find the best way forward for everybody. So, the best way forward for Trinidad and Tobago. I posted a video under the yellow alert showing vehicles in Westmoreland's River cleaning the river. And I said, they know how to do it. Look, they know how to do it. They understand how to clean the river. They shouldn't have to have relied on vehicles that could work in deep water. Because I am certain renting those vehicles cost a lot more money than a simple backhoe and a simple dump truck that could have done the cleanup when it was dry season. They had to send submersibles into that river to clean it. And even that they were able to do to prevent the flood. And I put that information in public space and that went viral. And I showed that this can be done. While I was filming that, Sipero River was flooding. And there are trees growing in Sipero River. So I'm saying, if you care to clean the mouth of the Westmoreland's River, clean Sipero River. Now, a fellow by the name of Simon Frazier and two Samantha and Bev Conyers and a woman by the name of Deborah Lynn Pereira look past the whole purpose of the conversation to jump out themselves to point out to me because I had said that the regional corporation mows the lawn. And I assumed that because the state owns that land. that river reserve that they pay to maintain. Now, by now, they're probably going to claim adverse possession of the river reserve because they've been maintaining it. And if they've been maintaining it, they're probably going to end up taking it. That's how all squatting in this country takes place. They now have a park on it. And I want to tell them that the reason that all that had happened, that I assumed the state was maintaining its own lawn, they jump out themselves. Not to say, well done, Phil. What you're pointing out is correct. They're cleaning the river. You're right. They should clean all rivers. Correct. You said in your video, Westmoreland's people pay their taxes too, so they're entitled to that. Brilliant. Well said. The only mistake you made, Phil, is by saying that the regional corporation mows the lawn. They don't. The Westmoreland's people do. They put up the couple $100 that they pay those van loads of fellas that you see driving around with edgers and weed whackers sticking out the window. They pay them and they come and mow the lawn. No problem. You could have told me that and I'd have conceded the point. The only reason I really thought it was the regional corporation is I dealt with something in Westmoreland where the regional corporation was cleaning the drains and they threw down one of the gates between the drains. And I was given all the information about who was in touch with the regional corporation and they will come back and fix it and whatever. So I was assuming if that they were maintaining one thing, they would maintain everything else. But this is the problem with Trinidad and Tobago. There are too many people willing to get caught up in the thick of thin things. And this jackass Simon Fraser, whoever he is, on a WhatsApp group in Westmoreland, said of me that I am not interested in facts. Now it pissed me off and I cuss him. I tell him, take your P&M ass-licking tongue out of my name. Because you don't know me, and that was not the intention of the video. And if you all had just told me, hey, Phil, you know what? That's not true. Guess what? Because I have no way of knowing. But the facts that presented themselves to me made me assume. If you tell me the truth, or the facts, like this guy who called to tell me he have facts, different to what is posted, send me those facts. And I will update everybody. But it is the way we do it. A doctor who saw and was moved by Kes Defentala's sister's concert to raise funds for a kidney operation that should be free. Trinidad had one of the best kidney specialists in the world, John F. Hayes. And John F. Hayes Kidney Foundation was known worldwide for quality work and where kidney surgery and stuff was concerned. And many of you would know the issue of kidney disease and people needing those things resonate with me because my sister died from that a couple of years ago. So I know the seriousness. So when this doctor offered, you see, I don't know Kes' sister, I don't think. I don't know. I might, I don't know. But I don't know her condition. And I don't know her well enough to know how bad or how at risk she is. I don't know. And a lot of times, like my sister, I thought we had time. I spoke to my sister that day, the day she died. I thought we had time. So now that I understand that with diseases like kidney disease, you don't have time. You need to deal with it. When this doctor, through Satish Ramsaran, because people come at me through all the different members, offered, I posted on Facebook, and I posted on Facebook, I need to get in touch with Kes. We have a doctor willing to do his sister's surgery for free. Have Kes call me on 682-2110. I have two reasons I did that. One, my social media is powerful. If I post that, I am sure Kes would have gotten that message 1,000 times. But I did it for another reason. My social media is powerful, and when I shine a light on something, the jackass brigade in government acts on it. My very dear friend Natasha Jones from 97.1 called me and said, you know, Daniel would have preferred if it wasn't so public. but you just had a massive concert to raise funds. So I assumed that you didn't mind it was public. But anyway, I said to Natasha, just explain to Daniel for me. That post, while it helps her if she wants it, but it turns out that they were already far enough along that they didn't need it. I said, but that post, whether it helps her or not, it shines a light that private citizens are willing to get involved and pick up where the government fails. And hopefully embarrasses these sons of bitches into action. But every single person who wanted to ask that came on the thread to say, so many poor people need help. Why are you helping rich people? Now that is the kind of jackassery we get in Trinidad and Tobago from our education system. Those people wouldn't go outside Terence the Alsing office. They wouldn't go outside Balize House or Rienzi Complex or wherever the UNC head office is now. They wouldn't go outside the MP office. They'll sit down home in their shame and dead in shame. They'll sit down home in their shame and dead in shame, hoping somebody like Phillip Alexander could quietly, you know who I don't take on? Most of the people who message me and say, I need this fix, but leave my name out of it, I want it, anonymous. I'm not sharing your stuff. I'm only sharing the stuff of the people who are willing to stand up publicly and say, hey, this is crap, this not working, this need to fix. Phillip will fix it. Phillip is supporting you. Phillip is standing with you. Phillip, let me fix it together. Then people message me. The rest are all you. Once you have to type that you need to remain anonymous, but you want your road fixed, or your street light, or your water, or your family who's sitting down in a wheelchair in the hospital, don't message me. That will work for the people who getting paid to do it. And I'll tell you why. When I put my time and energy to help you without it being a public thing, nobody else benefits. My job is not just here to pick up where Rowley and Kamala fails. My job is to expose the failure of government, how easily we could fix it without being in government. Make a lie of the bullshit the UNC has been telling people. Well, the UNC not in office, so you're getting paid millions of dollars for what? If the UNC and its supporters believe that there is no purpose for the opposition, that they can do nothing, why are they taking taxpayers' funds? Why are they doing the job? And if Kamala really believes that it is a powerless position, step down. Step down and send all of the seats for by-election and don't contest. Let PEP win all. Let us get the option to go and represent those 385,000 East Indian people in those communities that are not being served. That the UNC is only trying to trap votes by pretending at a local government level, even though they're getting funded, that they have no power. They have plenty power. They have plenty power. No, I'm not telling you that they don't have just cause to try and make this government look bad. But the government doing it by itself. The government don't need help. That is the government of Stuart Young, Fitzgerald Himes, Colm Imbert, Faris Al-Rawi, and Keith Rowley. That is that government. They have nothing UNC could do to help them make a bigger shit than they make. So you don't need to. You can step and do your job, do your part. Help your people. Represent your people. I want to make a lie that the opposition have no power. That's bullshit. The opposition have real power. Plenty power. But they don't know how to use it. And they don't want to use it for their members. They're using it just to provoke election, political bacchanal, everything. They will focus on Gregory Amo. Now, I am the only person who said he should not have been appointed. So it's, to me, is an opportunity to say, I told you so. All this bacchanal and fighting that's going on in the country over that Attorney General, what he did, is the UNC and the PNM avoiding this question. If Mr. Amor, as the Attorney General of Trinidad and Tobago, lied, whether he was in this country or out of it, he would have committed an offense. And that offense needs to be investigated, and if it is a criminal act, him charged and prosecuted. But neither of those two parties want to do that. They don't want to go down that road. Because the road of real justice, the road of real right and wrong, and plenty former ministers will find themselves in a lot of hot water. To watch people come on the threads and say, what about all the poor people? What about the babies? You give a shit about the babies? And this is the first time I'm hearing it from you. When I post about the teachers, the same teachers who couldn't teach the children for 2 years, 5 years, gonna teach them in 1 month, 2 months. Teachers got upset. Teachers wanted to say to me, especially a fellow named Katawaru, who wanted to say, if you meet these children, if you have to deal with these children, you'll understand. But you all have had them since they were the age of 3. The teachers have been drawing a salary to teach these children since they were 3 years old. Yeah, they could come from bad communities and wayward families, but you have them while they're still saplings, while they're still flexible, while you could still help make them grow straight and tall. The Ministry of Education and the Ministry of Social Services is supposed to work together, utilizing the Children's Authority Act, and intervene in situations where parents are abusing children. That don't happen. We have no system along the way to track how children do it. We have one SEA exam that plucks the children of the 1%, put them in the prestige schools, and to ask with everybody else, all they will come and work for them, put fries in a box, swing a baton. And we all, Trinidad and Tobago, comfortable with that state of affairs. As go and read the nonsense, I tell you, as keep calling Stephen Carey's name. Nobody else has called his name, and nobody follows him. You have like 2 and 3 people following him. But the reason I have to keep using him as an example is, what did he do for 5 years and 6 months in the cabinet when he was given an opportunity? These people who speak out after they come out of government having done nothing when in government are the worst kind of criminals, because you had an opportunity to fix it and you drew money under false pretenses. You wined and dined all of them, not just him. But if your son and your wife and people related to you end up with public contracts while you was a minister, that is wrong. And a government that really cares about the people would raise issues like that. That no family member of no government minister should be allowed to compete for any contract. No beneficial shareholder, no director. Faris should be fired. But not just Faris. Half the government is a bunch of people whose wives are contractors. Ask Terence Dialsing to total up the value of all the contracts his wife company involved in, including the $500 million Red House restoration contract. Ask him about that. But we in Trinidad and Tobago, we sit silent. We want help, but we don't want to talk about it publicly. The government that we support, when people come on the threads and say, you know, Phillip, they're going to come to you for all the help, and when it's election time, go back and vote the same jackasses into office, it's because they don't understand what government is for. They think somehow, and the PNM and the UNC has rigged people's minds into believing that election is about if Indian or African win. What they win, they don't know, you know. But who come first? Our race win. Win what? How do you benefit? By some, by the hope and a prayer of a handout? This country is where it is because of the people of Trinidad and Tobago, from Westmoreland to Powder Magazine. And if I say from Westmoreland to Powder Magazine, I could tell you, a Western Savannah that Louis Leasing fought for has been separated and made available, but not to the children of Powder Magazine. It is so difficult for those little black children to access it that they might as well not. And every piece of construction that was built around it was built specifically to block them from it. That's Trinidad and Tobago. That's Trinidad and Tobago. Bayside Towers and Cocorite water hole hard in place, separated by 6 lanes of pitch and 2 pavement. And the very wealthy reside in Bayside with their backs to Cocorite. But in Cocorite, there is a mass of young people who will never go anywhere in a country where the education system is so rigged that nobody gives a damn how they doing until they reach SEA and they fail. The only situation this time around is that so many failed that it embarrassed the government. So many failed. 60% of those who did the exam failed. And what failed means is they did not make enough marks. They don't have enough knowledge to go forward into Form 1. But they're going forward anyway because the government has no system. The government has no way to treat it. So it created at $1.3 million a day a remedial whatever to happen during this August holidays. And I am asking, how do teachers feel about knowing that all of that failure they had a hand in? Government, family, community, education system. That is who were responsible for the development of those children. The Progressive Empowerment Party's education plan requires you to continuously assess the performance of a child with their own grade point average. They're not fighting each other. They're not fighting to get into a prestige school. There's no SEA. Under the Progressive Empowerment Party's plan, all children enter school at 3 and come out at 15 to go forward to university if they so desire. But for that 10 years, 12 years of learning, and between 3 and 6, the things that they learn are social skills and people skills and how to be functional, contributing members of society. Because we learn a lot of that in the first 7 years, 3 to 7 years of our lives. And I did a video where I showed you all the difference between children being born in Bayshore, Goodwood Park, and Fairways, as opposed to Beetham, Sealots, and Laventille, and the education system, how it leaves them behind. And it is deliberately set up so. I am the person who has been telling Trinidad for decades about the Finland education model. People are coming back at me with that. Somebody sent me a post yesterday, why is our dollar so weak? He said, read this. I said, I wrote it. What these failed politicians do is they take my work and remove my name and try to pass it off as theirs. But people know my writing style. It is like my speaking style. And when you read words that I wrote, you hear it in my voice. So it's past too late for them to try and pass themselves off as me anymore. But our situation in Trinidad and Tobago right now, where we stand today, failure of the government to deal with this, is not just the government's fault. The teachers have to take a knock. But I was in St. Mary's College when tutor was formed. And tutor seems to have damaged teaching as a profession, because everything from then was work to rule and stay home and march and protest for more money. I ain't get wrong. Find a way to get more money. But teaching as a profession is important to this country's future. It's not the same as any other profession. Teachers mold minds to the point where a lot of what I do now, I have been positively impacted by teachers. I tell people, I boldly write because of Mr. Forbes in St. Mary's College in Form 1. Form 1. I was in Form 1. I was a tiny little thing in Form 1. I was timid. And he gave us all an essay to write, and we had the 45 minutes of class to write it, and then had it up at the end. And the next day, he called me and made me stand up. And that is a nerve-wracking thing for a tiny, timid little 11-year-old. And he made me stand up. And he called me out in front of the class. I got lightheaded and made me read what I wrote. I thought he was insulting and embarrassing me, and the class was going to laugh. And when I read the last word, I heard his booming clap of his big hands as he clapped and the rest of the class clapped. And he made me believe that I could be a writer. And all of my English teachers and literature teachers for the rest of my career in St. Mary's College are still my friends today. And I talk to all of them about writing. I get guidance and whatever. But that's the power of a teacher. The power of a proper teacher. And that's just him. That's just one instance that created and opened the door for me. Every single person in this world who go forward in life, somebody had an impact on their lives. And they could look back and say, and there's a saying, thank a teacher. Thank a teacher. Our teachers in Trinidad and Tobago, too quick to defend their position and shame the victims. The children are victims here. These are children. These are children, and we are shaming them and we are naming them as if to say, well, you come from so and so, so you're just like so and so, so that is all you're going to ever be. And that's not good. That's not healthy. That's not positive. That's not reinforcing. That doesn't give a child something to go forward with. And I've been watching all of these responses to all of the positive things that we try to share to say that we, the country, us, together could find a way forward that is not just about me fixing stuff. That's not what it's about. After the first 10 times of people saying, wow, you're good, how much of that do you think I need? The purpose of Phillip will fix it is to show that it could fix. The purpose of Phillip will fix it is to show that no matter. And we have bumper stickers now. Phillip will fix it. I want to show you all one, because if you message me on 682-2110 tonight, I'll make sure that they hold one for you at Grab and Go, and you can go and get it for free. But the purpose of Phillip will fix it is to show that it can fix. That if we focused on what is right, what is good, we could turn our backs on the PNM and the UNC and their politics of corruption, theft, bacchanal noise, and racist tribal division, and really stand together as one people. One people. The day we could unite and break the whole of the contract mafia, the day we could unite, because people telling me, oh, you're still shopping Massey? Listen, I went tonight to do a video about the manager again, so I shopped there as I was there. But I go and shop in Massey because of it is convenient to me. And yeah, I am sure that there are cheaper prices elsewhere, but when I go and pass through some of the other groceries, I'm telling you, the way they kept is not an encouragement to me. I like, at my stage in life, to shop in somewhere clean and nice, good service, staff know you, and all. And I think that that's what's lacking in a lot of the other supermarkets. Are Massey's prices too expensive? When you see Massey prices expensive, what you can't afford, do buy. But I was able to show tonight a melangen that was quarter the price per pound of what they were selling just last week because of the public outroar. Speaking out, I see people sharing dragon fruit. Everybody who's sharing dragon fruit, I want to ask them, you ever taste a dragon fruit? You ever eat a dragon fruit? You ever buy a dragon fruit before? You would swear by that picture of dragon fruit on Facebook, a dragon fruit is the #1 seller in Trinidad. Now, I know the people with the dragon fruit farm and so, and they don't really have that much sales to justify the outpouring of information with the $120 dragon fruit. But we, as a people, raised issues and got them fixed, like the prices, like the food prices. We embarrassed the government, embarrassed Namdevco, embarrassed Massey, and got a change. That's the point. That's the whole point. All of us in every position, wherever we are, we have the ability to impact this country. But we're not trying to impact the country. I took a turn in the Anglican bishop's tale for the nonsense of him making there's a newspaper headline promising the persons who stole the bell a spirit lash. That karma, that's all that they just didn't use the word. But I asked, where was this person all the time? When the country was deteriorating to the point where people were emboldened enough to go and steal a church bell. Where was that bishop? I told Jason Gordon every single night, the Archbishop of Port of Spain, he was wrong. And the first time he spoke like me on issues and spoke about the issues, the country sent it viral. It reached on the news. It reached on the news. And it makes the point. I say I fix even the Archbishop. But it makes the point. We could fix all of it. We could fix it. What I do, you could do too. And if all of us stand together, if all of us stand up together with one another, you see what the unions try to sell you, that idea that they could unite you and get you more money? That's just a pipe dream. You ever watch how all of the workers are bound by collective bargaining and how the rules apply to what they have to do to get their increases? You're trying to justify being in a union, and in 2022 you getting paid salaries from 10 years ago, and they're telling you how it's supposed to be done. Anybody that comes to us for representation, anybody could tell you that if we take on the matter, it's dealt with one time. One time. We go straight to the top. We go right to the top. People ask me, message me and say, today is the deadline for Wildflower Park with the meeting you had with the head of Wildflower Park. And she called today to say that they believe that the 18 signs are fair. She said she counted it and it's 10. No problem. I'm going to go and do a live video there tomorrow. I'll count the 18 from Ms. Didier Braffett to see. But she said that the Horticultural Services Division thinks that the 18 signs are fair. She called them 10. No problem. We'll see what the courts have to say on that. Because all of the wrongdoing that's being done in this country is being done at the highest level, with public officials being involved. All of it. Keith Rowley's talking about the country and violent crime is a public health issue. It's not a public health issue. It's a failure of government issue. It's a failure to secure the borders. It's a failure to stop drug trafficking. It is a failure to unstuff the containers on the port. It is a failure to end corruption. It is a failure to end money laundering. It is a failure of the Financial Intelligence Unit to do its job. It's failure right, wrong at that level. That's why we are in a failed nation that will continue to be a failed nation until we, the people of Trinidad and Tobago, put aside all of the things that divides us. You could be the blackest, the most Indian, the Syrianist Chinese ever. Doesn't matter. We are sinking alone. All of you. All of you. Nobody happy. You could be living in the biggest, best house on the top of Goodwood Park Hill. Don't drive out of Goodwood Park, because the moment you come out of Goodwood Park, you're in danger. The country is a dangerous place. It's not a dangerous place because people went mad. It's a dangerous place because of the government and the failure of government to manage the country and steward the economy and safeguard and provide everything that is necessary to make the people in the country live a proper life. That's why it's like this. The price of flour was allowed to crush the overwhelming 50-60% of people of this country that are living under the poverty line. And nobody, no PNM, no UNC made this an issue. the government was to subsidize that cost. But the people in the flour business is friends and financiers of the PNM and the UNC. The price of food will not come down as long as you have parties like the PNM and the UNC preventing farmers from farming. It is those two parties that shut down Caroni, that had access to the 68,000 acres of Caroni land and made no effort to put farmers on those lands farming. Everything is about how I could tie up to get a vote. Country failing because of the government and the opposition. The country is failing because of the people who continue to support racist, tribal, divisive, corrupt nonsense. The country is failing because all of us are failing to put country first. And we can have every argument you want. It is too easy to argue. It is too easy to think if Phillip do a video in Westmoreland's River, he need to know everything before he do a video. It's too easy to think, no, you shouldn't help people like Kes sister when there are people poorer and suffering more. It's too easy for teachers to blame the children who failed in the education system. It's too easy for us to divide. It's too easy for us to talk about, when we're talking about prices, to talk about where you're shopping. It's too easy, all of us trying to hold ourselves up on some kind of moral high ground and not seeing that we're standing there alone. The solution to Trinidad and Tobago is only going to be unite, unite, unite. When we unite the people of Trinidad and Tobago, we will get to a place where we could consider ourselves able to start to go forward. Right now, where we are, that can't happen. You know why that can't happen? It can't happen because the people who are benefiting the most benefit because we divided. So Starbucks will not be the issue in the airport if they give you a waving gallery. And if you're on the waving gallery waving like fools, you wouldn't pay attention while they sell the airport from under you. And that's what's wrong with Trinidad and Tobago. It's too easy for them to divide us. It is too easy for them to give us a small thing here and a small thing there and con us into believing that we're benefiting somehow from this failure of government and opposition in a system that does not represent the people of Trinidad and Tobago. And if you think that I am wrong, look at yourself, look at your condition. Is it good whether PNM or UNC is in office? If not, why? Look at the fact that we've had $3 trillion made and spent over the last 60 years, but we broken, and in debt. Our money is the weakest in the entire Caribbean, but we were the largest exporter of all the countries. So ask yourself, why might that be so? If not for all of our money being extricated from the country as foreign exchange, surreptitiously and squirreled away, drug money and corruption money. Trinidad has been looted from within for 60 years. And Keith Rowley and his handlers want to do you the ignoble injustice of coming and take more of your money to pay for a party to tell you, come and celebrate all of the wrong that was done to you since August 31st, 1962 to now. play to the end like that. I'm going to read something for you. The country is stalled. Nothing is working. Surely you see that for yourself. Education, healthcare, water, police, even river cleaning they cannot get right. All we get from PNM and UNC is childish squabbles and noise as people die all around us from medical neglect and violence due to social collapse. The government, the cabinet, the parliament, none are providing relief, representation, or leadership. We are heading to failed nation status. Surely you see with each new calamity that this cannot continue without a crash. Our economy is dead in the water while friends of the government loot what's left. We need to stop this insanity while there is still something to save. Our democratic constitution places the responsibility for the people, for the country in our hands through those we hire at election time, but is silent on ways to fire them when they fail, a situation that is ripping this country to shreds. Keeping your head down and going about your business hoping it will right itself is not working. The government is about to spend hundreds of millions in propaganda for an anniversary party to convince you that all is right. But what is? What works? The masses cannot eat and are one provocation away from erupting. Disgusting racist overtones clouds almost every exchange between elected MPs and from paid ministers. Nothing is working. More than 50% of the nation's children just failed an exam that will create 9,000 potential criminals in 5 years, and the government and the opposition are silent. Our country is failing. Our Attorney General has been held in place by legal briefs for a matter he should not only be fired for, but prosecuted. A commission of inquiry into the clear murder of 4 men in a pipe will do what the other inquiries have done. Spend millions in legal fees, but in the end, nothing is likely to come of it. But OSHA and the police have left the management responsible for the killing in place, free to be responsible for the deaths of others through their clear and manic incompetence. Our country endured a full day of chaos due to a blackout that a committee convinced us was caused by a falling tree branch. We are being misled and taken advantage of. It is time to unite the people and stand up for our country. We are going downhill fast and accelerating. Don't do like the Anglican bishop and wait for the wolf to reach your door to speak out. We need all hands democratically and lawfully on deck. It is time for the drunken confusion of our national resources and mismanagement of our national resources to end. It is time to unite and stand together. Nothing else is as important right now. My WhatsApp . Somebody asked, "Hi Philip, can you tell me the Catholic Church has the authority to mandate masks at church?" Listening for the answer. The answer is perhaps. But what's more important is the Catholic Church will crumble without your donations during the Mass. And if you do not want to go to that church because of the mask mandate, stay away. And if enough people stay away, they will change the mandate. It is the theme and the tone of this video that when we stand up, and I'm telling you, it don't take everybody, but the more people to do it, the better. Because people will ask, where is everybody? Well, they're staying away because of the mask. So why don't change the mask thing? And all of us standing together on everything is what we need to do about everything. My whole WhatsApp, all of the staff of True Value, all of them, are ready to revolt. True Value have their cashiers counting money. This is what the members are telling me, in a corridor rather than in the office, putting them at risk. People passing and watching them counting money in a corridor. The staff of True Value messaging me. The staff of Lake Asphalt, Gandhi Village, Cashew Gardens, Orapoon, everywhere. Everywhere is messaging now because they want us to come and highlight their situation. But the problem is, if I talk about one person medical condition, I get drowned with everybody's medical condition. If I just keep pouring people's medical conditions onto the Facebook, it'll bore everybody. I highlight a pothole, everybody want to talk about their pothole. If I show a road, everybody want to talk about their road. Any situation, a hospital, talking about an old lady that's sitting down in a wheelchair for 5 days trying to get on a bed, everybody want to talk to me about their mommy and their tanty and their auntie. And this is why it fails. Because if we fight for Kes sister, if we fight for granny in the chair, if we fight collectively for the whole by the church, if we fight for the mass, if we fight, we stand up together and fight these issues together, all of them together. If we add our collective 1.4 million voices on every issue, the government and the opposition will work. They will have no choice. If every single mother of every hungry child go to the member of parliament office and sit down and don't leave, even if police are to come and move you, the media will cover it. All you have to stop being shamed. And you know when all you stop being shamed? When all you run out. And then all you go in with sign outside the grocery, hoping somebody feed you. When it's too late, when you're in that much of a mess, stand up now. You are seeing it failing for others. Don't wait for yourself to lose a job to say, well, no, now I'm going to make a noise. We're supposed to be standing together over everything. I fight more for Lavantel, Beatum, Silots, Morva than anybody in the PNM. And if they want to challenge me, I could prove it in hours of videos and words. Just Google Phillip Alexander, Morva, Beatum, Lavantel, Silots. And see how many times I've had that said in one of my articles over the past 20 years. It is I that bring up names like Cocorite and Harden Place and Waterhole. It is I that talk about all of the communities in Diego Martin and bring them into the light because they are abandoned and they set aside. And Goodwood Park is 5 minutes from La Puerta. It backs each other, but it's 5 minutes on the road. And if you enter the same hill through La Puerta or through Goodwood Park, it's chalk and cheese. And why might that be so? Why might that be so? Because we don't stand up. Because parents don't stand up for their children. So they will try and see if they can get through in a failed education system. It shouldn't be like that. We are wasting time, life, opportunity. It shouldn't be like this. It shouldn't be this hard to get people to see their role in upholding the criminal corruption, the incompetence, the failure of this nation. It is the supporters of the PNM and the UNC that have ruined this country. All of it is wrong. It is not, well, all you do this and then you do that. All of it. Both sides wrong. Don't ask me about if it was Anand. If Anand do wrong, Anand wrong. And Amor wrong. And Faris wrong. Stop trying to make it about if it was this one or that one. If all of them wrong, they're wrong. Stop defending who in your party because they're in your party. If Amor had done what he did but was a UNC member, the UNC shut up. If Anand had done what he is alleged to have done but was in the PNM shut up. So what does that tell you? It is not about the act, but about the person and about the party. So it's about politics over country. And that's why Trinidad's a shithole. That's why it's failing. And all of the people who don't want to use jackass and shithole and any of the other words that upset them, when you see they're taking their last gasping breath, when you see the bank come to take their house because their business closed down because they couldn't get foreign exchange because the drug lords getting the foreign exchange to use, when you see they lose everything and the wolf reach their door, you will hear them. You'll hear them. All of a sudden, it'll make sense. I watched Fazir Muhammad on a morning show the other day, and I said, well, that might as well have been me. Because everything he says now, I said 10 years ago. And I'm not trying to make it about do what I say because I say it or trying to take credit for everything. I'm just saying, you've had the information. It's not just me. Calypsonians, Sparrow, Kurt, Allen, they've been saying it. We've had people, Tyrone Hernandez, vote them out. Every word in that song. We've had people pointing out to us all along the way. That's not working. And we allow criminals, we allow white-collar criminals to prosper in Trinidad and Tobago. We allow them to prosper because they're in our party. So each party now gets a rogues gallery and their supporters support them while they make off with the loot. Nobody in those parties jailing one another because they don't want that precedent. And again, back to back, and that's the truth. Back-to-back issues, all of these things. When we put out information about anything that is wrong, the amount of people that is affected by it. And I'm wondering, if I get everybody who's being done wrong by the National Insurance Board to come to my office tomorrow and just stand up, the media will cover you. And it will embarrass the government. Because Phillip, Edward Alexander voice in it and they're frightened. Phillip will fix it. Have them shaking. They don't know what else to do. I get a WhatsApp from a certain short man minister telling people in the Ministry of Works, stop responding to Phillip Alexander. Stop fixing what Phillip highlight. That's the level they reach. Open panic. Phillip will fix it, resonating through the country. People call me on my phone and say, I get your number from somebody who say, he's the only man to fix it. I don't need the ego boost. But these people have nobody else to turn to. And when you look at that situation, you tell yourself, well, boy, if I could have only helped, if I didn't have to hold my corner, if I didn't have to hide, if I didn't have to worry about victimization, if I didn't care they was going to fire me, if I didn't have to worry about I lose my contract, if I didn't have to worry about my mother HTC house, if I didn't have to worry about my father have a CPEP gang, all of that, everybody holding their corner in their little piece and trying to survive with that, not realizing that they are going to lose. And when you lose, when it finally reaches you, because you didn't add your voice and stand with everyone else, there's nobody left to stand with you. We talk a good fight. This Saturday, from 5 p.m., we are at Victoria Square, at a public meeting. Come out in your numbers and attend. We are going to have an open mic, and you could speak about the issues that are affecting your community, and I will let that video run for as long as there are people to talk on that mic. Come and tell them what's affecting you in public health, in education, in public works, in social development, in the justice system, in your job. Come and talk about anything that is affecting you in this failed nation. Let us look at each other and recognize in each other that all of us suffering from this madness of PNM and UNC and the 60 years of contract mafia control and manipulation using race. Let us put all of it aside. Let us stand together and we will get this country working. It's easy to fix Trinidad and Tobago, you know. The politics difficult. It is the politics that ruining Trinidad and Tobago. It is the politics of race. It is easy to fix this actual country. People tell me, come east. But if all I was in Miami, all I drive 0.14 way to go to the grocery. Stop telling me, come east, come west, come north, come south. Come find me. Come to where I am. I tell people who tell me come south. I say I was in south last week. Oh, well, I didn't know. Jump in your freaking car and drive up north for this Saturday. Because I'll be in south 2 weeks from now, or east, and come there too. We have to stand together. And I come in, so why you can't come? And that's the point. Again, that's the point. We have to stop being selfish and we have to stop being lazy. And we have to stop saying, you know what, Philip? Come home by me and hold a meeting in my living room now so that I get off the couch. A day will come. No, Javed, I wasn't aiming that directly at you. You're a good, loyal supporter of the Progressive Empowerment Party. But you had a post and I had to deal with that because you reminded me about the amount of people who said, why you don't come south? I said, I was in south at Synodan Street last week. Where were you? Well, I didn't know. What am I telling you? What am I saying? Look at the reality of Trinidad and Tobago, where it's at right now, and ask yourself, if you could afford to really lose this last opportunity, the Progressive Empowerment Party is the only political vehicle. All those other political parties that are trying to form are dying, stillborn, because they have no substance. They are all reactionary and they're trying to sell some idea to you. The only political movement in this country with size, substance, policies, plans, ideas that resonating across the board. One morning, I told people, I said on the average morning, I deal with irrigation, education, public health. I deal with all about national security, know about bread. We know about governance. Around the world. Around the world. It is the Progressive Empowerment Party that has the largest following of Trinidad and Tobago, Adams. And I'm telling you, and I'm saying that, not a name drop, but to tell you that the people are looking on and seeing and listening and understanding that of all the politicians outside there in Trinidad and Tobago, from Rowley to Kamla to whoever else, there is only one political leader and there is only one political party that is having a constant positive impact on the lives of the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago, and that is Phillip Edward Alexander and the Progressive Empowerment Party. And it is too late for them to try and join the race because we're so far ahead in the service business. When they think they come in to do roads, all of a sudden I watching political leaders outside filming road. I see in videos, look my road, look my street, look my yard. I see them UNC people going and sit down in pothole. All right, follow me close, no problem, I'm fixing that. I'm fixing members of parliament who was failing to represent you, them coming out of the house now because they're realizing that if they don't come, Philip will. And the country is saying my name so much, Kamla has become irrelevant. The UNC is irrelevant. And some diehard East Indian supporters want to come on the thread and come on this video and say, but Kamla not in government. I not in government either. And she getting paid to do it. So tell me, the reason Trinidad and Tobago is like this is we have two failed political parties that are puppets of the contract mafia that have been looting this country, that have you on a treadmill, that enjoying the benefits of your taxes through fake contracts and all of these over unnecessary projects. All of it. All of it. We could fix it. It could fix. Ruth Vera tell me, don't stop. Ruth, come on board. All we need is numbers, girl. That's all we need. We need to shock them. We need this Saturday to have 10,000 people in Victoria Square. And yeah, I know you have plans. I have plans too. I always have plans. I have family. I have loved ones. I have dreams. I have trips to the beach and to go to a party and to eat a food. And I have, in a restaurant, not in politics. I have all of those dreams and wants too. But and the members of my party, Satish Ramsaran, Felicia Hola, Sean Sunoy, and the team that work to build this, they have them too. But come Saturday at 5 o'clock, guess what? Where we are. Because we say, we give our word, we come out to fix the country. And I'm saying to you, you wanted to fix, people messaging me, Philip, can we really get an election sooner than 2025? Put 100,000 people in Victoria Square tomorrow. That's where I'll be. Come where I am. Because the government and the opposition know Philip is serious business. The government and the opposition know the Progressive Empowerment Party is a real threat to their political hegemony. They understand that this is a real political vehicle. Unlike the other small distractions that pelting out itself outside there, the Progressive Empowerment Party doesn't live and die on what the media let them say, We make our own media. We get our name and our numbers. We get our information outside there more than those who live in the media. So I want to tell you something. It could all do. It could all fix. And if us have been doing this and we've been getting so much done in our numbers, imagine if you add your numbers to ours. Imagine if 10,000 became 100,000 and 100,000 became 200,000. Imagine if we went and stand up in front of the Red House, 500,000 strong, and say, hey, this air working. Let me fix the Red House. Let me fix the Parliament. Let's fix governance. People tell me about the EBC. The EBC will, any corruption in the country will collapse. They could, if could come and film. Well, boy, I don't know what to tell you. But how about 200,000 numbers to ours? Imagine if 10,000 became 100,000 and 100,000 became 200,000. Imagine if we went and started from tomorrow, 5 o'clock in the morning, Inward, Hines, Young, all of them outside there working. Every UNC MP, every PNM MP, councillor bouncing up MP, bouncing up mayor, bouncing up CEO, bouncing up minister. Everybody, hey, come on, lend me your broom, lend me your mop. Everybody want to work for you. That's how it's done. That's how it's done. If the whole of Beetham and the whole of Lavantel give me their support, PNM will rebuild Beetham and Lavantel from the ground up to get our vote. That's how it's done. Unity. That's how it's done. Let the Progressive Empowerment Party be the vehicle that unites this country and changes the way government is done. So every single child in this country gets a proper education. So 1% children don't have to afraid 99% children 10 years after school. Let's make sure everybody have a chance and a hope at life. That's what we need to do. We need to do that. It is our responsibility. I cannot do it alone. I have shown you courage. I have shown you power. I have shown you ability. I have shown you knowledge. And I have shown you commitment. If I give you my word, nothing else happening but that. Where are you in the conversation? Where are you? Where are you? To the hundreds of thousands of foreign-based Trimbagonians, we need your financial help. You can't walk with me yet. You can't come and vote for me. But you could send us and you could fundraise for us and you could make us a financial powerhouse that could stand toe-to-toe with corrupt, speculative investment, political investment. You could make us stand toe-to-toe with drug trafficker money. You could make us capable of buying whatever media time. If we can't rent your billboard, we put up your own billboard. You could help us paint Trinidad and Tobago orange. Look at us with our billboards and our keys and our t-shirts. I want to give away by the thousands, but I can't. We have to sell it and pay and get more and do again. Help us. Get all of us. Those who can't stand up, finance us. Call Felicia Holder tonight. 769-4590. Call her now and say, Felicia, I want to give you $20,000 tomorrow. Come and meet with me. Somebody did that last week. Call Sahai De Silva, 3748747. Call Sahai. She's in charge of the donation crew. We need your help. We need your financial help. We need it. We are never going to be a beneficiary of the contract mafia and the political investors because they know that if we get into office, the gravy trade done. They know that real laws that end corruption. We're only talking about procurement and regulator. Miss me with your bullshit. We want public and transparent opening of tenders. We want contracts that are evaluated at the conception stage. Don't just create bullshit and then send it out to tender. We want to make sure that what we get in is something that the nation need. Best use of national resources. That's what we're talking about. We need to be there again. So that you don't see, well, they bid. They bid on what? Shit. A flyover in Westmoreland that nobody need. A $500 million flyover that nobody need. We need every single Trinbagonian hearing my voice. And I want to tell the people, Simon Fraser, whatever her name is, Deborah Lynn Pereira, and the Conyers. I want to tell you all, you're living in a shithole, and I am the person to fix it. So don't get vexed with me if I mistake who mowing your lawn. Be bigger than that. Be better than that. Be more patriotic than that. Stand with me, because I have no problem with none of y'all. And I say that with an open heart and a clear mind. That Trinidad and Tobago will not fix itself if we continue to be petty. Trinidad and Tobago will not be fixed if we operate in ego. Trinidad and Tobago will not be fixed if we divide it and make it self-interested. Because if all we care about is what we eat in and how we live in and what we have and how it looking, the country that we're living in will sink around us, and we will find ourselves ruining the day that we miss the opportunity to get on board what Vernon de Lima calls the last train out. It's the last train. And he knew that we were supposed to stop in 2020, because I said that I was done. I said I was done. That if Trinidadians don't want to stand up for themselves, but you know what? We are seeing massive interest in the movement as government and opposition collapse on themselves. They're so blight. This is the first holiday since the 2 years of lockdown, and the road to the North Coast closed. People can't go to the beach. This fella's blight. These two parties blight. Blight. Water flooding the street, but your tap dry. They blight. They blight. We can't do nothing right. This is a country where the ground's so fertile. We grow some of the best fruits and vegetables in the world, but we can't get it to buy because we're not growing it. Because our fertile land growing razor grass and housing complexes and strip malls. We have more malls per capita than anybody else in the world right now. This could fix. You listening to me right now, you could dislike the best bone in my body, and I don't get wrong. Feel how you want to feel. But know this, there is only one person in Trinidad and Tobago that is committed to fixing Trinidad and Tobago at the political leader level, and that is me. Everybody else on talk. Everybody else financed. Everybody else want to sing somebody else's tune. Give them a chance and you'll see. And I'm telling you, test me. Because no other politician works as hard as we do. And you know that for a fact. Even the water polo senior women's team came to us to help get financing so that they could go to their games, so they could qualify to go to the Olympics. As Atto Boland tell me today, this is the worst he's ever seen sport in Trinidad and Tobago in his lifetime. Trinidad is failing. Mothers can't afford milk for their children. Trinidad is failing. More than 50% of the children who did the SE exam failed it. That means we are actually going to create bandits, because those children have no options. Government have nothing in place for people who can't make it through to the end. The country is failing. If your mother or your father or your child gets sick tonight and you don't have money to pay Sinclair or West Shore money price, you ought to go and sit down in that general hospital. And if you never sat down in the third circle of hell, trust me, pass through. Just walk through and tell yourself, oh God, I don't want this to be my condition. Walk through without needing to be there, so you'll find your way to the Progressive Empowerment Party quick and give you some money or come on board and help. Because you say, I don't want to be sitting down in that chair. Trust me on this. And it's not the workers in the hospitals to blame. Those are good and decent people. But you, there go you, but for the grace of God. If you were working under those conditions, what do you think you'd be doing and saying? How do you think you'd be treating the sons and daughters of entitlement that walk through those doors and tell you all what time it is, and who their father is, and who they know, and who they just play golf with? We need help. I'm not lying to you. We are not going to succeed without you. The same way a certain percentage of the country could be relied on to vote race for the PNM and the UNC, we need to rely on people to vote sense. We need to rely on people to vote that flag. That red, white, and black flag is the only thing we all have in common. Let us make it work for all of us. Let us make it make sense to the most Indian, the most African, the most Syrian, the most Chinese, the most white, the most Douglas, the most red, the most anything you are, whatever you are, whatever you identify as, whoever you're praying to, whoever you're lying down with in the night, what we are about is managing the country. Security, price of food, jobs, home ownership, water in your taps. That is what we're talking about. The rest is up to you. It's our business. That's up to you. Our job is to make sure that everybody who wants a job could get one. And everybody who have a job could own a home. And if you're living in your house, have water in your taps. We want to make sure that you live in a country where law enforcement and justice actually works. We want to live in a country where education is equal and prestige for all. We want to work in a country that if you get in an emergency and you have to get to a hospital, you get there within 10 minutes. And once you get there again, proper first world treatment, we have the ability. And now that they've looted the country, I am asking you to give me this broken country so I can rebuild that economy and show you that we didn't have to rely on oil and gas for all of our 60 years. We could be better. We should be better. And if you come on board in your numbers, we would be better. Trinidad and Tobago needs you. It needs everybody's 2 feet. Come and join us this Saturday at 5 o'clock at 14 to 17 Woodford Square, Victoria Square, opposite Victoria Square. Come there. Come and stand up. Just stand with us. You don't have to raise your fists. You don't have to pelt a stone. You don't have to shout. All you need to do is show up and stand up. Because if we grow our numbers to the point where the PNM and the UNC understand that if an election call tomorrow we win, you will see how they start to work. And that's a win for you. Imagine if we fix PNM and UNC. Imagine if you come out in your numbers and frighten them into showing up and working tomorrow. And all of a sudden, they fire Terence Dancing and put a proper Minister of Health who fired the actor Davlin Thomas running the Regional Health Authority and put an actual doctor who understands public health and get those hospitals to work. Imagine that. Imagine you fire Gadsby Dolly and you hire a proper educator who understands that the 41 school supervisors need something to work with other than the bullshit of SEA and the prestige school model. And the nonsense of the 20% and the Concordat and all of the prestige separating bullshit in our education system and get all of our schools to work. And principals and teachers that cannot perform, send them into another career choice. But make sure that all of our children, for the window of time that they have to give to their lives, the education, that they get a proper education. Get our 30,000 registered farmers working, protect their crops, secure them with water and land tenure, and make sure that they could drown us in food. All of a sudden, the country started to make sense again. All of a sudden, you could lie and relax and play all fours again. And nobody jump in your wall because Mova beat them lab until Sealots and Cocorite and Harding Place and Waterhole and River Estate and Patna Village and Bagatelle and Sakanga and Appleton and Bacaday and Edinburgh 500 and everybody and La Hoqueta and everybody, them have lives too. Them paying their bills too. Them buying their furniture too. They have water in the tap and the children belly not full of gas. Everybody want to like themselves too. All of a sudden, nobody interested in joining no gang because the country working. We do it now. We could do it if you want it. You have an opportunity to actually get it done. Let's end the politics of bullshit and noise now and get down to real governance. And it could start now. And if you want to influence the way the country is run right now, come and stand up with me Saturday at 5 o'clock, 14 to 17 Victoria Square. And if you are living abroad but you love what you hear and you think that I'm entertaining and beautiful, call Felicia Holder right now, 769-4590, and give her money and tell her, watch me, keep that man live every night because I like what I'm hearing. You want a better country? Stand with us and make it happen.